There are many among us who find excitement in that which intimidates the rest of us. If it is dangerous, uncomfortable, or terrifying, you can safely bet there's someone out there who revels in it. Skydiving and racing are two good examples, but one that you probably wouldn't think about is caving. Caving, or spelunking, is an activity in which you explore wild cave systems, and unless you're particularly claustrophobic, you might not think it's anything too frightening. But you also might not be aware of just how extreme it can be, with experienced spelunkers exploring the tightest, most cramped spaces imaginable. Images of explorers crawling through tunnels in which they have mere inches of wriggle room, hundreds of feet underground, encased in tons of rock, are bound to unsettle all but the aforementioned thrill-seeking adventurer. But even for them, their exhilaration can quickly turn to horror when something doesn't go to plan. Born in 1983, John Edward Jones and his brother Josh spent much of their childhood with their father in caving expeditions around Utah, where they were raised. This helped John develop a taste for caving that would stick with him for life, even if he didn't get to enjoy it often. By 2009, at the age of 26, John was now attending medical school in Virginia. He had a year-old daughter with his wife, Emily, who was pregnant with their second child, due mid-next year. In a return visit to his family in Utah, John decided to go caving once more, as it had been years since he last had the chance. With his brother Josh and 9 other friends and family members, John drove out to Nutty Putty Cave in Utah around 8 p.m. on November 24th. Nutty Putty Cave is a very challenging spelunking spot, as its narrow tunnels are punctuated with sharp, twisting angles. Even the entrance is a tight squeeze. Less than an hour into the expedition, John begins to explore a small passageway. Crawling headfirst, almost vertically down, he notices it's only getting tighter and tighter. It's impossible to turn around in the shaft, so he reasons his best course of action is to keep pushing forward and come out the other side. But soon he is unable to press on. The space is 18 inches across and 10 inches high. He barely has enough room to wiggle, and even his breathing is restrained. His brother Josh makes his way to him and tries to pull him out by his ankles, but John only lodges further down the shaft. He is now completely unable to move. Josh makes his way to the surface and calls for help. Soon rescue workers are setting up at the mouth of the cave, preparing for the difficult task of not only reaching John, but bringing in supplies and equipment as well. It will be hours before they can reach him. At this stage, John is in a horrifying predicament. He is over 100 feet underground and completely wedged in a long, narrow passageway. He has difficulty breathing, as not only is he in an enclosed space, but he is so firmly crammed into the spot that it is restricting the expansion of his chest as he inhales. Also a worry, he is facing downwards, and gravity is pushing his organs on top of his lungs, making it even harder to breathe. His blood will also be flowing towards his head. His heart will begin to strain with the increased work rate of pumping excess blood out. Not to mention, too much blood pooling in the brain can cause a hemorrhage. Over the next 24 hours, rescuers work tirelessly to try and free John, but their options are very limited due to the restricted space. During this time, John reports he is becoming exhausted. The rescue workers maintain constant contact with him to make sure he remains conscious. The only part of John they can see is his feet. Trying to chip away at the walls and create more space is difficult, as the rock is incredibly hard, and of course the space for tools and movement is very limited. They eventually set up a rope and pulley system, hoping to tie the rope around John's ankles and pull him out. Unfortunately, it's not going to be that easy. The tight twisting nature of the tunnel means they can't just lift him out in one go without snapping his bones. It's going to require a lot of effort to maneuver on John's part too, already struggling with his breathing. They do manage to pull him out a few feet, securing him a little more space and relieving just a bit of discomfort, before the pulley system gives way and he slips back in. After 27 hours of being trapped, John has stopped responding to rescue workers. Just before midnight on the 25th of November 2009, John Edward Jones is pronounced dead. It's speculated he had died from either suffocation as a result of the prolonged strain on his breathing, cardiac arrest, or brain hemorrhaging from the blood rushing upwards. However, the exact cause of death will never be known, as it was considered too risky to recover his body. Instead, several days later, it was decided that Nutty Putty Cave be closed to the public and was plugged with cement, thus sealing John's body forever. And now he rests in the place where, in life, he spent his last moments.